Absolutely. Yes.
It's all that nice weather. That's what it is.
So we're gonna get started here. So got there. Okay. You know when you're ready. He gonna tell me that I'm ready. Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Go.
What's going on, Iconic Magazine? Hey, we're here. Wonderful special guest at Winter Gym 2014. Now, the young lady sitting next to me, she has a reputation of speaking it and saying it exactly how it is, I heard. So, hey, we're looking forward to this interview. Plum, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good.
Good. How's the tour going for you? This tour is crazy. How's it going?
It's really busy. It's really fun. Catering is amazing because I just finished eating cornbread and greens and ham.
I love that.
And carrots and walnuts and salad, and that's like Lecrae said yesterday, that it's like his favorite part of tour is catering, but it is really yummy. But that's not the only great part. It's super fun.
So you started off with cornbread and greens and finished it off with some carrots and some walnuts. You know, trying to make sure, well, I at least ate a little bit good on it. You know, maybe not, maybe not.
Well, all of it, I think.
Pretty good for you. All right.
Pretty healthy.
No problem. So, wonderful hit songs like One Drop, Need You Now. We want to take the listeners and the viewers kind of behind the scenes of your heart and what came out of those songs and what went into those songs. Like One Drop. So how was that birthed and how was that created?
One Drop is like my PSA version of explaining it. Like the really quick way is like it only takes a little bit of good to do a whole lot of great. But I believe there's always hope. And I think sometimes whatever situation we find ourselves in is so foggy and so bleak and so dark that we just can't see any of it, and we just need to taste just a drop of it, and little by little that fog lifts, and then you see that there's actually an ocean overflowing with it. But it kind of starts with one drop, and that could be just you get through a day.
Right.
Could be a specific luncheon appointment. Like something actually gives you that one little push that gets you through to the next, and little by little grows exponentially, and then you can look back and really be glad you didn't give up hope, because it really is there. So it's like a quirky, fun, happy song, but it has a deeper meaning than just the ukulele. But you can't write a sad song with the ukulele.
Right, indeed. So let's kind of go back. I kind of want to bring our listeners and our viewers up. For the ones who know you, a lot do, but the ones who don't, tell us more about yourself and really how you came into your music and everything.
Well, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm from Indianapolis. I've sang my whole life just sort of as a hobby. Anywhere and everywhere, from church to school to 4-H to coffee shops, and eventually in my late teens I was recognized as more than just a casual singer, and I was asked to sing backup professionally for some artists, and that led to studio work, and that actually kind of required to move to Nashville because all the artists that I was singing backup for or in the studio with were out of Nashville. So I moved to Nashville and did not go to college, just kind of kept having opportunity after opportunity take precedence over university, and I got a phone call one day from a record executive, and he was like, "We love your voice. We want to talk artistry." And so I didn't plan on this.
Wow.
I didn't pursue it, but it just was sort of a matter of when a door opens in front of you, just having the courage to just walk through it and see what happens.
You know, it's interesting you said it, because so many people would say, "Oh, go to college." But there's some people, when they have a passion, they have a passion and a drive to do something different.
Right.
You should go with that feeling. Now, we do advocate college, but there are a lot of people who don't go that route, who are very successful. Was there any level of trepidation with that with you? You went right into it?
No, I honestly, I've always been a very social person, and so I think the most attractive part of college to me was the social part of it, and that can be detrimental to your grades. It can be detrimental to your checking account, because there's, I mean, scuds of college students that spend so much money, and then they end up with a degree they never use. And so I'm not, anti-college, but you certainly want the physician operating on you in the operating room to have been to college. But I don't think that every passion requires that. It just depends on what you're wanting to do. And so often when you get out of high school, you don't quite know what you want to do.
Right.
And so it's okay to even wait. If you wait a few years to go to college and then actually study something that you've now discovered is really your passion. My husband and I actually started a Montessori school a few years ago for our kids to go to, and it's grown and it's doing amazing. But the real emphasis for us, for our kids, was for them to find what it is they love to do and really just fan the flame of that passion. And it has nothing to do with how much money they're going to make. And it also sometimes doesn't even have to do with what your career is. You may do something for a job and have a good attitude, work hard, do your best at whatever it is, even if that's not your true passion, because your true passion is, maybe it's painting,
Right.
maybe it's something to do with, gardening, or I mean, it may have nothing to do with your income, but actually being able to find things in your life that really bring you joy and satisfaction, I think makes you a more well-rounded person, a better person to be around, a better employee at wherever you work. So if your passion isn't human resources,
Right.
but you work in that department, be grateful for the job, but still to have that thing. And so whether it's career or not, we really wanted our kids to have that passion for something, to know what it is they love to do, what they're good at. And if that bleeds itself into something they do career-wise, great. If not, that's okay too. I think my parents noticed early that I sang all the time. That was just something I did, and I think that's more obvious than
Right.
some children's talent. So I think a musical talent is a lot easier to recognize for
Right.
parents than sometimes others. But regardless, when I said no college, my parents were completely supportive, because they had kind of seen since I was tiny, like, maybe that's not in the cards for
Right.
her. So it's not for everybody.
And it's funny that you say that, because for me, I know I was kind of the black sheep of the family, and I got in a lot of trouble. It's four boys, so I was the one kind of got in a lot of trouble.
Right.
But and my mom asked me and said, "You struggled through high school, but your grades in college are so much more better. How does that work?"
Right.
Well, a couple of things happened. First of all, I had to pay myself to go to college.
Ah.
Different focus, a different time in my life.
Right.
So even after going through that period, I realized that music, media, marketing, and ministry is really what I want to do. And so I love what you said, because it's nothing worse than being in a position or a job that you really don't want to be in, or you walk in from family pressures or tradition or heritage, and that you don't want to do that.
Right.
So I can go on and on about that.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. So, Need You Now. Now, so many different people have made songs like that. What's unique and specific about that song?
I think-
the album and that song.
Yeah, I think Need You Now is what was initially just written to be a song inspired by a circumstance that was really personal to me. I've struggled with anxiety, and I actually had a form of IBS that's not really been zoned in on what
Right.
causes it necessarily. I'm always trying different things of like going gluten-free or just seeing if what will affect it. But when I would have these IBS kind of flare-ups, if you will, I would panic.
Right.
And the anxiety related that would just grow exponentially, and I lived in fear of that happening all the time, and that dictating so much of my social life. It was paralyzing socially and just emotionally, kind of living in fear a lot. And so I wrote this song inspired by that, of how many times I found myself in the bathroom stall at high school, just
Right.
crying out to God as the only real source of peace that I could find, of like, I know you're not going to leave me, please get me through this,
Right.
get me through this moment right now. And that general understanding that you need God, but like needing Him right now more than ever before in this moment. And so I wrote it with that inspiration, but then it turns out it's really an anthem of hope for anybody in whatever their darkest moment may be, whether you relate to that story specifically or it's completely unrelated to that and it's your own bleak moment. Maybe someone has died, maybe you just found out you have cancer, maybe you just lost your job, whatever the circumstance may be. Need You Now is really a prayer that you scream at the top of your lungs, which is, contradicts kind of how we are taught what prayer is. Prayer is this thing that you do in quiet
Right.
and in private. And Need You Now is literally whenever, wherever, scream at the top of your lungs, I need you right now more than ever before. And so I think people are relating to it and connecting to it because everyone has that moment. If you haven't yet, you will.
Oh yeah.
Of just, this is the worst moment of my life. I can't imagine anything worse right now. Or you've lost all sense of control and you don't know what else to do, and you just have to cry out to God. And the good thing is you get to, because He'll always answer, because He never leaves. And so that went on to, I inspired by this, but then now it actually means so many things to me in different moments of my life. And so I'm not really surprised it's doing well because of the content, but I don't think it's because of me.
Right.
I think it's a message that God wanted to kind of put out there and say, this is a prayer you can pray.
Right, and in the different parts of our lives and walk with God, and just in general, we go through different phases of, Lord, I need you now. Not just an overall cry, but at different levels. If it's a decision,
Right.
If it's a place where if it comes to the small, God loves us so much that even the most minute, small situation moves his heart towards us in
Sure.
compassion. Because he's a total compassionate, loving God.
Right.
And which means it encompasses all. So I love the song and the album. I gotta go back a little bit to Drifting. Like, and that song was done with Dan, I always screw the last name. Hasseltine of Joys of Clay.
Right.
The Joys of Clay. And that song just spoke so many volumes to me in different areas and different seasons I've been in life. How was that birth? It seems self-explanatory, but what really went into that? What was the passion behind it?
I love metaphor. I love to write a song for therapeutic reasons, for accountable reasons, and I always have a story that's inspiring it, but I usually try to not write it in such a way that it can only mean that.
Right.
I've had a few really literal songs, and then someone will still come up and say, "What's this song about?" And so there's a part of me that feels like no matter what kind of art you make, somebody's still going to turn it into what it means for them, which is beautiful.
Right.
I think that's what's beautiful about art. But Drifting, for me as the writer, I have a friend who's gay and has, just in being friends with him and him sharing his story and his upbringing and just hearing him talk about feeling so lonely and so isolated and so unsure and so disconnected and not relating to that at all as a small child, feeling very accepted,
Right.
very sure of myself, very approved of in my story, and just having this broken heart for him of I think everyone, whether it's your sexuality or it could be the color of your skin, it could be your socioeconomic status, who knows what it could be that makes you feel like you're different than everyone else. You just feel alone, and there's a lot of, you feel hopeless in those moments for whatever reason, that you're never going to fit in, and it just, I think, affects every decision of your life. And so in hearing him talk, wanting there to be a song that says no matter what it is that makes you feel separated, you feel like you're floating in the sea of loneliness by yourself, but on the cusp of the other side of that wave, there's like a million people just like you.
Yeah.
And there's hope in that,
Right.
of knowing you're not alone. You are not the first person to ever feel this way or to do this. It's just impossible. And that the sun, that storm, that's raging in you about that, eventually the sun comes up, and at some point you find a peace about that, and it just takes time sometimes. And so I remember someone saying that drifting is not really a direction, but it is. It's not a direction that you feel like you have control over, but you are moving in a direction.
Right.
And so I think the sooner you can find out that you're not alone, and that there is hope in this, and that there is purpose, I think that direction at some point takes you from drifting to direction. And I think that's positive. And so I don't know. I just wanted a song for him,
Right.
but and for everyone else who feels like him.
See, that's why I love, this is what makes me love what I do. To speak with artists like yourself who can take us behind the scenes and hear your heart and the focus of your music, and really have just true compassion and understanding, even if it's just motivated by that one person.
Right.
It still can reach the masses and bless people. I love it. The name Plum.
The name Plum came from a Suzanne Vega song. Suzanne Vega is best known for her Tom's Diner song, which is
I remember that.
Like, everyone's heard that, but so
Right.
many people have no idea that that's Suzanne Vega and that's the name of the song. And she's had a lot of other great hits and done a lot of great art, but she has a song called My Favorite Plum, and it was on repeat in my apartment when I had just signed, and I was trying to kind of come up with whether it was going to be a different artist name for myself or a band name, because my legal name is Tiffany, and that's already been done for the
Right.
80s pop stars. So
Right.
wanting to do something different, and so that's where that came from. And the B, actually, her song is not spelled with a B, but adding a B makes the song, not the song, the word go from just being a fruit to actually meaning truth. And so I just liked that plum is true, like the plumb line. You can find the
Right.
absolute center or whatever. And I just felt like that was a lot bigger than, oh yeah, it's, the first album cover of mine was the fruit with it was like the fruit and a fork.
Right.
And it was actually to contradict actually what the name
Wow.
plum meant. And so a lot of people didn't get the joke though. So
You
but
should
I
not-
still have bowls of plums in my dressing rooms, and people like throw plums to me on stage,
Watch that
and
now.
they do.
Watch that.
They do, and I'm like bitten into them, and we're like, ah ha ha, funny, and it's like they really think they're being so creative, and you're like, no,
That's been done before.
yeah.
Plum, we thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tell the people how they can connect with you. Now, your music on iTunes, you different places, but tell the people how they can connect with you and really stay engaged with you.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all that website, jazz, social media. Plum Music is my PLUMB, music.net. It's the best way to find me. Instagram is Plum Music, Facebook is Plum Music, and you can just Google me pretty quickly, and I think I'm one of the first ones. There might be like a plumber underneath my name, but
Right.
I think when you type in Plum with a B, I think I'm one of the first things that comes up, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Thank you for a wonderful interview and
Thanks.
taking the time for Iconic Magazine, Iconic
Oh.
Radio.
You're welcome.
Hey, we told you we give you the best interviews, we give you the most fantastic people on the planet. You're looking at one right now. Follow, support. When do you get a chance to hear the heart and the soul behind the music that really went in depth? This is good music, just from speaking with her. She's on Winter Jam, so if you're not here today, some city, it's going to so many cities.
Yes.
Come to Winter Jam.
If you
You
don't
can
come
see
to
it.
Winter Jam, it's your fault, because
Right.
it really is like, there's like 58 of the shows.
Don't throw no
Seriously.
plums though. I don't like that. She's a young lady. Don't throw no plums now.
They weren't
Hey,
throwing them at me, they were
Oh.
like throwing them up to me to be funny.
some people are more strong-handed than others.
That's true, that's true.
I'm silly. King Jackson here. Hey, stay tuned. We got more footage from Winter Jam. Plum. God bless you all. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.